Hey everyone, it's Brendan the Paleo Dude, and I'm back with another Jurassic World figure review. I know it's been a while, but finally we're starting to see these figures get released here in Canada. They're basically just the normal sound, the roar attack figures, and we're getting the attack pack, or now branded as wild pack figures. But we're not really seeing anything like the Herrerasaurus. A friend of mine on Instagram showed that the Jeep with Nedry set has been released at Toys R Us, but that's about it for anything too big. But I've seen these guys at Walmart, and I've seen photos of them being released at Toys R Us, so that's really neat. On first glance, you see the Baryonyx seems to be a retool of the normal mold that you see them in, and it's slightly disappointing. I think maybe the legs are a bit different. It looks like it's less bent, but you get a cool new action feature and noise as well. So the gimmick with these guys is there's this trigger on the back and you slide it forward, and there's 3 notches that it can go into. It's cool that they added some different sounds. The second sound, though, is just, the typical Tyrannosaur roar that you see in most of the Baryonyx figures. It would have been neat to see the actual Camp Cretaceous sound effects being used in this figure, but regardless, that's pretty neat. It also looks like the tail is attached via ball joint, so that's pretty exciting. Next we get Bumpy, just retooled body, but the head's completely new. You can see there's one of the horns on the back of the head stunted and the others are normal, but there's a lot more paint compared to the original one. I think the head's also a bit bigger. You can see they widened it out. The eye is bigger, the beak's painted, and it still has that kind of rubbery body, spikes, and the tail and everything looks to be around the same length, just with additional paint. And for this figure, it's pretty neat too. You slide this piece on the back forward, and it kind of slides sideways. It's also cool to see that they painted these spikes on the side, though not on the back of the tail, but they still painted the tail regardless, which is cool. The other figure doesn't have that paint on it. And then we have the Ceratosaurus, which is a completely new figure. Just the paint is retooled from the one that was released in the set. I think it's Ceratosaurus Clash set with Blue and maybe Charlie. But yeah, it shares that sort of paint scheme, which is nice. Slightly different though. You can see the paint on the original one, the non-sound one, is kind of browner here, and this one's a bit more of a blacky, maybe even bluish color. So that's pretty neat, and it's a lot more of a solid color base for each. And I do like how the horn is more of a faded yellow, whereas this horn's very white. And for this guy, I actually saw him a few times in stores but had to pass because the sound effects were broken, but this one's definitely the best for sound effects, and I love that jaw angle. Looks so nice. The arms are pretty cool. They're a new mold. They're facing down instead of inwards. The legs bent a bit more, and I think the tail's also new. It's on a ball joint too, so I'm excited to take that out and see how that looks. On the back of the box, it shows Bumpy and Limbo and basically what it does, so it's kind of like the rest. It's cool how each lineup they have sort of revamped gimmick for these dinosaurs, the electronic versions. Like the first it was buttons, and then it was controlling it by the tail, and now it's this sliding thing. The jaws also can flop around. You can make it bite stuff, and it just closes just like that. It doesn't get stuck or anything, so that's pretty neat. And the head's pretty rubbery. Can take some damage. So I guess we'll start with Bumpy. Finally getting grown-up Bumpy as a figure, which is, wow, okay, the body has paint on it as well. I was not expecting that. I couldn't see it from inside the package. Don't know why I didn't notice, but that is really nice. They've got some even on the legs too. Wow, okay, that's really neat. So Bumpy's got that nice paint on it, very characteristic head. It really shows what Bumpy looked like in the cartoon, which I like. You can also pose the tail by sliding it forward, and it stays in that kind of like attack position, which is nice. So that's really cool that they upped the paint scheme on this with the painted beak and the body paint, which the other Ankylosaurus figure does not have. And we'll move on to the Ceratosaurus. So we gotta see how we take the tail out. Put that guy. No painted nails, which is kind of typical for the dinosaurs that are gray in color. Nothing new there. I'm gonna try just sliding the tail out, maybe just pushing the plastic off a bit, and there we go, got it out. Let's compare the tail to the original tail, see if anything's new. Nope, looks like it's the same level of detail, just a bit fatter at the base and thinner along the length of it, I guess. Oh, this reminds me of the first lineup we had, where we'd have to pop the tails in, but this time we get posability with the tail. Yay! That's pretty neat. And I love this figure's horizontal stance. It's one of the things that really draws me into the Ceratosaurus figure. It's just, I don't know, something nice about it being flat like that. A more natural position. Neutral, I should say. The legs are pretty rubbery. They're all one piece. Like the foot is also part of the leg. Usually on other figures you'll see like the foot's separate, but that's pretty neat that they got that all in one. Oh, never mind, the other figures have their feet attached. I guess the larger ones don't. Looks like it might be a little bit bigger than the original, which is nice. That's a cool touch to it, and it's very refreshing. This mold was reused like 3 times. So it's cool to finally get a new Ceratosaurus now that it's grown in popularity, been shown in the show. Hoping to get more colors of it, as we've got a few other colors, I think, in Camp Cretaceous. There's like a green one. Wow, that's okay. You can also position it up, roaring. That's great for photography. I actually haven't seen any photos of it like that. I'm definitely up to take it out. I've hit like a photo artist block at the moment and I'm so busy with moving, but that looks stunning. That's so cool. Okay, best figure ever. I love that. 100% must buy. Like, holy cow. I'm really hoping they do more colors in this mold, because this is phenomenal. I love the paint job and the posability. Very great. Okay, so let's get into Limbo. Limbo has a slight color difference from the one in the Camp Cretaceous multi-pack. You can see the green's a lot lighter. It's a bit more yellowy, and the back color is a lot lighter. There's lighter brown, and instead of this weird brown, they have a green on the back. So that's neat that they've kind of worked this figure so it's not just the same colors on a slightly different body. So we'll cut Limbo out. There we go. And we'll see if the figure is basically a retool or not. Okay, let's attach the tail. boom, snapped right in. Kind of loose, that's okay. I was hoping it would be a little bit longer now that they had the chance to, like, you know, avoid the package restricting the length of the tail. But we'll see in comparison to the other one. It's actually, put them snout to snout, around the same length. It seems to be just a redo, but, oh, on closer inspection, if you take a look, these side bumps here, they're you know, they're different. They're more prominent. There's more of them. They're bigger than on the original mold. You can see there's nothing along here, and then there's more along that. I think that's more movie accurate, having more nodes on the back. What would those be called? Osteoderms, maybe? So this, yeah, alligator skin, whatever. They got more of the alligator skin pattern on the back than the original mold. So the body's obviously been tweaked. It seems like the ribs are the same. They've got the same pattern on it. The neck too, maybe? Or not. Actually, no. If you look at this neck, there's tiny little scales along it. And this neck actually has wrinkles, like folds in it. So that's actually a lot better. Wow. The more I'm looking at it, the more it's looking a bit different. The hands are the same, though, undoubtedly. The hands and the arms are the same. Let's take a look at the legs now. I think the legs, they're looking a little bit, is it bent a little bit more? Maybe? Here, wait. This one might be slightly less bent, and it looks like the calf is maybe a little bit bigger. Maybe the leg's bigger in general. So there's a bit of a difference there. And then the tail, this tail has those alligator skin on it, and this one does not. So this figure's definitely had an update on the body and the tail for sure. So it's not just a redo of the figure. It's been slightly updated to have, I'm assuming, more accurate appearance, like with the wrinkles, the skin and whatnot. And I love the posability of the tail. That just wraps it up. That is perfect. Very sad that the toenails haven't been painted. You see on other figures like this Grim, the tails have been painted, but for some reason they haven't painted the toes on this figure, but it's green, so it wouldn't really make sense for it to have green nails. I know the other Limbo figure didn't have painted nails, but that was because it was in more of a cheap box set. So that's kind of a disappointment, kind of a letdown. But regardless, I love the details they've added. I appreciate that they did actually update it and not just redo the body. And it's cool that the mouth can be posed in different positions, not just open or closed. Kind of like this figure where you just pose it on your own. It's neat to see that they actually managed to fit Grim into a totally different electronic lineup where you control it with the tail, whereas this one you control with this gimmick. So it gives you a little bit more variety when it comes to your figures, not just all the same type with different colors, right? So that's pretty neat. Overall, I'm enjoying this lineup so far. I'm loving this switch. I'm pretty sure they're going to have Herrerasaurus, and there's an Allosaurus coming out in this lineup. I'm totally pumped for those figures as well. And oh, and I think, what's the other one? It's like Grim, Limbo, and Chaos. I think Chaos is it's supposed to look like this one. It's coming out in that kind of form. And I think it has a lot better paint job, maybe more popping colors on the body. So I'm also pretty pumped for that figure as well. So I've also seen these guys on Instagram at Target and other major retailers in the States. They seem like they're pretty much the basic line anyone can get. They're not just regional locked in certain major countries. And I think they might be on Amazon as well. So I'm hoping that I'll start to see like Scorpius Rex and Herrerasaurus, Stegosaurus, all that jazz starting to appear here in Canada as well. And be sure to check out more of my videos. I'm going to be posting about these guys, and hopefully anything else I find. So I hope you guys enjoyed this review on these 3 new figures, and I'll see you all in the next video then. Bye-bye.